we go. Now, happy Saturday and or Monday. Yeah, I was doing a recovery ride today. My FTP's gone up. I did an FTP test a couple days ago. And one of the GCM presenters has been doing an FTP test every day for a week. Which is crazy. He saw some pretty interesting results, so I was kind of laughing because I've gotten mine up to 120 watts. And his is at like 400. So I was feeling all kinds of good. And then kind of laughed because of how low I am comparable to him. But he's also an ex-pro, so I'll take it. I will say doing the FTP test has made the workouts harder because it, of course, ups the threshold, which is good. There's a couple times where I was like, this doesn't really feel like a workout. And yesterday's definitely felt like a workout. So this one shouldn't. It's pretty chill. I will say, Zwift has a feature called a ride-on, which is essentially a thumbs up. And I got the most ride-ons I've ever received on this platform when I was doing the FTP test, so that was kind of cool. I do apologize if it drives you crazy that I'm not really looking at the camera, but I gotta watch my stats. So apparently the cadence problem that I talked about in I think the first video that I did of these was across the board because their firmware update they had today specified that it was supposed to fix that. I didn't try to connect to the cadence sensor on the trainer. I'm just still connected to my external one because it's on there, so why not? But it is good to know I wasn't the only one having issues. So I did choose a hilly route for this recovery ride. So I might still feel like I'm out of breath. I'm laughing because it says I'd advise that you stay in erg mode so as not to push too hard. Chasing carrots on Zwift is easy, but it's crucial to stay with the plan. And I'm laughing because when I did, what was it? I think when I did the FTP test, I ended up repeating my route, and it'll show you your past self. And I definitely pushed hard on those, so I find it entertaining. There's also, of course, other riders, so having them go past me does make me want to, get a little competitive, but got 3 weeks left on this FTP builder plan. So the erg mode automatically adjusts your wattage and your power for you, but doesn't obviously adjust your cadence. So I don't have to worry about shifting. I do have to worry about am I pedaling fast enough. But again, the structured training makes it a lot easier to not really zone out, but get through the workout because there's so many themes that you're making sure you're trying to hit, whether it's heart rate, wattage, cadence, Just makes it go by so much faster. When I did the FTP test, when I did the workout after the FTP test, it had me doing 120 watts at 100 RPMs. I didn't think I could do it. Turns out it's pretty easy once you put your mind to it, but it was an interesting experience. Still trying to figure out a good setup where you can see me and what I'm looking at, because the screen's kind of more entertaining than just watching me, I'm sure. But I think one, I need to get an external mic for that, and two, I gotta get a taller table. Like I said, it's gonna be kind of boring ride today, just a recovery ride. I've got an event later today that I gotta get dressed up for, so that's gonna be fun. 1920s themed. I'm looking forward to that. We had dog training this morning, as we usually do on Saturdays. And it went really good. I'm very pleased with Dika's performance. We haven't tracked in a while, so we did some tracking, and it wasn't the best, but again, it's been a while, and that's my fault, so, but she's getting there. Found out that the treats that I had bought specifically for tracking, she's not a fan of. So we'll switch up those. Just go back to the Red Barn, which I know she likes. But then we are working the dumbbell retrieve, the jump, and the A-frame. And she did well on those like she always does. And then the send out is kind of where I'm weak, so did the send out and she did it beautifully. And I'm really happy about that. I should have it on video. My reaction surprised even me, so it was really good. Don't have an exact date yet for when we're gonna trial, but we're getting there. Hopefully get her one before we go to check. We'll see. So in the 3 weeks, I guess it's week 4 now. Well, technically week 5. So 4 weeks into the FTP builder, 5 weeks into having Zwift. I'm a level 11. I'm halfway through to level 12. That's exciting. I'll say the blue in my hair has not lasted as long as I'd hoped, because it's barely showing up on camera, but that's the downside to the more fun colors. They don't tend to stick around as well. And I don't bleach my hair, so probably my own fault. But oh well. It's really funny, no matter how cold it is, when I first get started, within like 10 minutes I'm warm. Yesterday I was flat out sweating. It was an hour-and-a-half long workout. Like I said, since I did my functional threshold power test, and my functional threshold power has gone up, it upped the workout as well, so it was good. A little bit sore today. First day in a while I've actually been sore, but I also did not ice bath yesterday after the workout, so that's partly my fault. I should spin out my legs and be good. I gotta look at what next week's workouts are, but there's a route here called Oh Hill No that I really want to do. And then I gotta watch the video again. I don't remember what it was called, but there was a route that Connor, the GCM presenter I told you about, was writing for his FTP tests, and really curious to see what I could do up that one, because it was a pretty steep incline. This one's not bad. I think at its height it's 4%. So I'll just put on the video of Ollie in Italy trying to do the 40% gradient. When I do my hill climb, that'll make me feel better. That poor guy. Some of the things they do for their channel is insane. I love them for it. So, I think the route I'm on right now is a simulation of a route in the UK. It's very pretty. The Scotland routes are gorgeous. Although in true UK fashion, it almost always gets cloudy and looks rainy at some point in the workout. So I'm not entirely doing this for weight loss, mostly doing it for cardiovascular health and the ability to really work my dogs, especially if I'm the one wearing the bite sleeve. But I will say I dropped about 10 pounds in the last 4 or 5 weeks. It's kind of cool. But I think a lot of that actually comes from I've just been eating better, and I've managed to finally up my protein on a regular basis, so that's definitely helped. One thing that does kind of drive me nuts is it'll look like I'm right to the arch, but I've still got like 30 seconds of the effort. So the depth perception on the platform, it's either me or the platform. I'm not sure which, but every now and then it drives me crazy. So I try not to really look at the arches. We'll show you the segment starts and stuff like that. I just focus on the time. So there's, on this side of the screen for me, the amount of time left in the workout. In the center of the screen, there's how much time I've done in the workout. But then right below that, there's how much time for each segment. So this particular ride has 13 segments. And you get a star for each one that you do right on the numbers. It will say when I turn erg mode off and have to find the gears on my own. I struggle getting the stars because I tend to overdo it and then underdo it and then overdo it. I'm not really good at smooth and steady. But that's okay, that's something to work on, so I'm not too worried about it. I was getting some knee pain there for a while, and I slid my seat back on my trainer, and I'm not getting the knee pain anymore, so super, super important if you're looking at cycling or indoor training with an actual bike versus like a machine. Take it to a bike shop get a proper bike fit. You know, it sounds crazy. It didn't make sense to me when I first got into cycling. But having your bike set up the right way is just crucial to making sure you're working the right muscles the right way. You're not overworking a tendon or something. Essentially, because I had the seat forward, this knee was going too far forward. It was putting too much pressure. Not so much on the muscle, but on the tendon. So now that I've adjusted it, I don't have that tendon pain, and I'm feeling it more in like my hammies and my glutes versus my calves. Not to say that my calves aren't feeling it, but having your bike set up the right way can save so many injuries. It's crazy. I'm very happy I'm no longer getting the knee pain. So I did read somewhere that if you have knee pain, walking backwards on inclining your treadmill and walking backwards can help work those back muscles that tend to weaken and can help get rid of that pain. So, cool tip if you're a treadmill user. And they do a Zwift for running, if you're interested. I also discovered recently, if you're a heavy sweater, they make a sweat guard for your bike. So it basically is like a piece of cloth that attaches on your seat post and kind of hovers over your frame and then attaches over your handlebars so that you don't corrode your bike by just sweating on it. Since you're more likely to drip sweat on it in indoor training versus outdoor riding, which makes sense. Not that big of a sweater typically, at least not like dripping sweat. But as I up my training, I might become one of those, so you know. And then of course, water and electrolytes. If you're a super salty sweater, salt will really help. I'm also not a particularly salty sweater, and I don't eat a lot of salt, so not one of those things I worry about, but I do make sure I have electrolytes in my water, because being low carb, you tend to lose them faster. So if you're low carb, low sugar, definitely add in those electrolytes. I will say I do fruit juices and smoothies, especially on days when I have really long rides, like 2 hours or more. But about the last hour of my ride, I'll back off to make sure that I burn the sugars I've taken in instead of storing them. So far, most of my ketone tests have come back still in ketosis when I'm doing that, unless I've had like a couple days ago, like we had pizza, and I had a couple slices of pizza, and I did my workout afterwards, but in the morning I still wasn't quite in ketosis, so. But part of the training with FTP is also keeping your metabolism switchable, so you can switch between burning fat and burning carbs. I'm efficient at burning fat, not entirely efficient at burning carbs, so still working on that. But again, that's why I train and play around with different foods and smoothies and fruit juices before and during training. Rarely after, unless I just haven't fueled enough on the bike and I'm super shaky, then I'll still do fruit juice or something afterwards. Typically afterwards, I just try to hit a really high protein snack to help my recovery. kind of crazy how fast these go when you're focusing on the numbers and the landscape. I've also learned to make sure I have 2 bottles of water for the longer rides, because yesterday's I had about an hour or half an hour left, and I had to pause the workout and go refill my water because I was out. But part of that's because I hadn't pre-hydrated enough before the ride. I just had a lot of coffee. I gotta remember to put some music to the background of this one before I post it to YouTube. I think last week's I had meant to and I forgot. So I don't know how well that video is gonna do because it might be kind of boring. It wasn't super talkative either because I wasn't streaming to Facebook because I was having a bunch of issues. Probably because I needed a firmware update, didn't realize it. So this morning, as I mentioned earlier, my trainer got a firmware update. My computer also updated itself, so hopefully everything's up to date and works no problem this week. We shall see. After this, I'll probably do some Greek yogurt with my blueberry protein powder. Maybe a handful of nuts. Again, just get the protein in. We did cheat for breakfast. We went tracking, and there's a Panera right by the field where we were tracking. And their breakfast is pretty good, so I had a bagel. Not the end of the world, but it definitely means I gotta watch my intake the rest of the day. By choice. So between upping my cycling and doing the ice baths and everything, I have not had a nerve flare up in a very long time, and I'm very happy about that. Even on the days when I'm eating a fair amount of carbs, so that makes me very happy. It's so funny because they talk about when you're in zone 2, you should be able to have a conversation with minimal gasping for breath and whatnot. And that's fine and dandy if you're training at home and think you're in zone 2, but streaming like this and talking to the camera is a really good way to emphasize that and show me that in fact, yes, I'm in zone 2, because I'm not like dying, but it's a little hard to carry a full conversation. And most of the active recovery rides are going to be in zone 2. Although Zwift kind of has its own zones, Strava has its own zones, so there's a fair amount of, no one really knows what zone 2 is or agrees on what zone 2 is. But, I mean, the main thing is you're being consistent, you're pushing yourself every now and then, putting in the work. You're going to get better and your health's going to improve, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day. I don't think I was pushing myself enough without Zwift. Well, I'm happy to have it, which isn't to say that you can't. It's just depending on what metrics you're looking at, which I was only going on heart rate. I didn't have a power meter. can be easy to cheat yourself without realizing it. A lot of the workouts I was doing were on perceived effort. I'm not a fan of. Just because perceived effort changes as you get tired. So there's 100 watts. There's 100 watts no matter if you're tired or just starting the workout. Kind of let you guys down. I'm not wearing any cool gear I can tell you about. Some pretty basic workout clothes. But I meant to start this ride an hour ago, and I distracted myself. So it was one of those, get changed and get it done, so I can shower and get dolled up for tonight. I say tonight, the theme starts at 4. So super important when you're indoor training as well. Well, and when you're out on the bike. I feel like it's easier to forget when you're indoor training. Just to switch up your positioning. So drops, hoods, top of the bars, whatever that might look like. Super easy to get stuck in one position. And you're not really doing yourself the full training justice. A weird message that popped up, sorry about that. Been using these sessions to also double up on the dog training. So usually when I bring the dogs into the garage, it's like, hey, we're gonna train. So they're getting a little crazy when we get in here. So having them in here while I'm on the bike is a good way to just do some chill training, is what I like to call it. It's just like, hey, because you're in here, doesn't mean we're doing anything. Just calm down, just lay down. It's been working pretty good. One, to keep Nachi and Dole separated because they still like to try to go at each other. But 2, to help 𝐇𝐐𝐏 learn to regulate because she's just so high drive. It doesn't take much to spin her out of control. So it's really beneficial for her to learn how to control her drive, control her emotion, and all that. But she's the best dog. She's awesome. Whew. Whoa. The whole team is passing. I haven't used the companion app yet to see if I can connect with any of the pros. Jump on a ride with them. I'm also not nearly good enough yet. I almost got on the GCN Club ride last Wednesday, but by the time I saw the notification, it was 15 minutes in, so I was like, ah. So by the time I get home, start out doing stuff, we get ready, it's probably gonna be over. And I don't know if, like, you can jump in those rides late. I know there are no drop rides, but I don't know how that works, so. Oh. Eventually, we'll get there. There's a couple different tours going on in Zwift right now, as well as team training stuff, so some days there's no one on the road with me. Other days, like a Peloton at 30 will go past me. I'm like, oh, geez, okay. But again, that's part of the fun of the platform. These spots are really pretty. Well, maybe next week I'll put in a little more effort on Friday or something to set up an actual decent camera spot kind of over here so you can see both. I guess too with the recovery ride it's not really entertaining because I'm not struggling that much, so maybe I chose the wrong one to stream, but oh well, here we are. Not every ride can be an all-out effort. Here we go. Got like a 9% gradient on this hill. I have a love-hate relationship with hill climbs. I love them because they're a great workout. I hate them in these because they don't want you to stand up. So it's just put the power down and grind. Which I understand is a beneficial way to train. There's something really powerful about standing up and just really smashing down the power. But it keeps yelling at me to stay seated, so I'm staying seated. When I do the 𝐄𝐎�𝐿 one, it'll be a free ride, not a training ride, so I do what I want. Woo. Dogs are going crazy. Probably a neighbor got home or something. I broke my vacuum on Tuesday, get a new one on Thursday. Thankfully, it works really well. In the middle of the desert with 4 dogs in a dirt backyard. Not a place you want to be and not have a vacuum. Luckily, only one room here is carpet, but still. Too much dust. Whew. Less than 10 minutes to go. Inside these go by fast. I will say with the TikTok ban and more people flocking to Instagram because of it, be careful with people reaching out to you for promotion deals or to be brand ambassadors. I'm pretty selective about what companies I promote anyway, but I had someone reach out to me and I looked at their landing page and like half of it didn't even have products. It was very clear that it was like kind of just thrown together, which maybe they're just starting out, I don't know. But nothing about it sat well with me, so be real careful. There's a lot of scams with those kind of themes. Although on YouTube I did get the option to basically name my price for anybody interested in doing a paid promotion, so that was kind of cool. I haven't done any yet, so I thought it was neat. There's a lot of brands out there that reach out that they don't jive well with me. Either their landing page looks terrible, or their affiliate dashboard looks terrible. I've had that too. We get a lot on the dog's account where they reach out, and it's, you know, they make hoodies for dogs and pajamas for dogs, and I'm just not that person, so I turn them down. Not to say that they're all scams, but just be aware. Do your research. Whew. It's really interesting to see all the countries people are from right now. There's a lot of people on. I mean, it's a Saturday, so that makes sense. But because Zwift is global, there's almost always people. It's just kind of fun seeing the different times when certain countries are active. You know, it's mid-afternoon for me, but late evening in the UK, so maybe it's people getting in their evening ride or super late ride because of work or something like that. It's just always entertaining to see. What's up, Casey? Good to see you, man. Of course, I said that thing about my knee not hurting since I adjusted my seat, and now my knee's hurting. I think it's I knocked it earlier. We were putting the jump out at dog training, not because of the bike itself. But that's okay, I've only got 5 minutes left. One thing that the structured training that I've been helping with as well has been rest days. So I typically am very bad about taking rest days. Not to say that like I necessarily overtrain, but there'll be days when I'm like, oh, I'll do a hard ride. And then 2 minutes in, I'm like, yeah, no, I shouldn't be doing this. So having the platform tell me like, hey, take a day off is kind of a good thing. 𝐄𝐍𝐉𝐎𝐾 kind of did the same thing. But I just didn't like it enough to pay for it. And then you couldn't, after the free trial, it wouldn't let you replan whatever you were working for, so it just wasn't really worth it. But last effort. It's turned nighttime in the platform, which I find interesting. Not sure what time zone it's operating on. Although, I mean, Chuck's 8 hours ahead of us, so it's 9 o'clock at night there. So, the UK is only an hour or two ahead of that. I think it's a 6-hour difference for them. Probably is about sunset there, so maybe it's running on that time since I'm pretty sure this is a UK route. The other cute thing this does is when it shows you your calories burned, it shows you what that means in terms of pizza slices. Which again, I don't eat pizza very often. but I still thought it was cute. I think this whole training program is supposed to burn like 12,000 calories or something like that. Again, over 6 weeks. It's just kind of funny to see. I know yesterday's was up in the 400s, according to Strava. Today's will probably be like 150. I mean, it's really not a lot of effort in this recovery ride. But it's been in my queue for 2 weeks now. I figured I might as well just do it. Woohoo! 2-minute cool down and we are done. The science and the studies behind improving with zone 2 training or low load training, it's kind of fascinating when you get into it. Also seems to be kind of controversial, which I find funny, but a lot of mixed opinions. But there's a lot of people that swear by this zone 2 training to improve. So, I think a good balance of hard efforts and easy efforts is the way, but I also don't study this for a living. Whew. Just about to get to the downhill. That's where it gets fun. There's an extra step in the trainers, like there's a couple different more expensive versions. And one of them has a smart control basically for your wheels so that you can actually turn and practice steering and whatnot. And on the one hand, that sounds like it's really cool. And on the other hand, I just have this weird sense that I would end up crashing. Or at least doing a U-turn, but I don't mean to do a U-turn or something. So, needless to say, I do not have that trainer. But I'm very happy with what I do have. Whew. That's it. Yeah, 181 calories. Like I said, not an exciting one this time, but sometimes you gotta do the low efforts.